Hello and welcome everyone. Oh yeah, can we hear the music? Okay, we'll wait just a moment. Come on, Jane, you get up here. There we go. Thank you. Okay, well, hello and welcome everyone. And let's start with the flag salute. Jody. Oh, you'll
Be very careful. Follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test. First, of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And I believe Cindy, who was visiting us via Zoom, is the inspiration.
Can you hear me? Okay, I got this on a Rotarian site. It says, as Rotarians, we have the power to speak and share, to explain and educate, to inspire and to influence. It is our responsibility to share our talents and ideas and to find meaning in other people's messages. May we use our skills to provide service to others less fortunate and help them to be self-sustaining.
Great message. Thank you. Cindy. I don't believe we have any visiting Rotarians, but I know we have several guests here. So, and when you introduce your guest, let's use the microphone so everyone can hear. And I will bring it to you. So, who are the visitors?
My guest today is Lisa Woodruff. She's from Logan Design, but you're going to hear all about her in a few minutes because she's our presenter today.
And I've got Mary and Greg Millard are here, and they are guests, although they just turned in applications to the wrong person, so I'm not sure I'll make airplanes out of them or something. I don't know what I'll do. So they're guests for now, and maybe members are soon. And Renee, right? Go ahead. Yep.
I'm Renee. I've been here a couple times so far. I turned in my application to Dawn and Bev, so we're going to get that process started, and I'm excited to know more about Rotary.
Chris Lee, you a member yet?
Well, hi, I'm welcome, and to all my friends, I'm so thankful to be here because so many of you have invited me many times. So thank you. Finally, thanks, Greg. So back to you.
Thank you. So let's start with just a couple of announcements. Let me begin. Last time I mentioned Empty Bowls. So don't forget Empty Bowls hosted by Options, October the 9th. What is it? 6 p.m. I think. It's the Parkway Christian Church. It's a great event. You get a bowl and you get a lot of food, and the proceeds go to feeding people who need to be fed. We're starting to push every Rotarian every year. I know it's early, but it's never too early to get started. So don't forget, it doesn't have to be much. And I know around after Christmas, New Year, Greg will do the Super Bowl whole thing again, which is a lot of fun. Very easy way to give. But just keep that in your mind. On the 15th of October, we're going to have, I think a couple people from some other clubs and maybe some students to talk about the foreign exchange program. If we want to do that, we need to start thinking about it seriously, and we need some volunteers. At least if you don't necessarily have to host a student, but you need to be on a committee. So it's getting to that time, and we'll learn more in about 2 weeks, but keep that in the back of your mind. And then let's see what else. Oh, there's a district event in Jacksonville on the 21st of October. It's the Rotary Foundation Roundup, and they have asked us to basically be the bartenders. And I mean, we're gonna have to, hey, there you go. You cannot sample the ware though, sorry. So if you are interested, let me know. Let's see, I didn't see Kirk, he's kind of spearheading part of the effort. And he has more of the data about like what time we would need to be there. It's probably what, about a 4-hour commitment, maybe?
I think 3 to 7.
3 to 7, okay.
With barbecue.
Okay, do you want to say anything else? Do you know about it? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but
Trying to remember from our board meeting last night. So it's October 21st. There's going to be the quarterly grants meeting that afternoon earlier in the day. And then the celebration, which is basically a way to celebrate all of the district's achievements with the foundation, is from 3 to 7. It's going to be at, I forgot the name of the place, that really wonderful German schoolhouse brew house in Jacksonville. That's the location. It's going to be a barbecue. And what they've asked is if our club would take on the responsibility of serving wine and beer. And so we would need folks with liquor licenses, but apparently that's not that hard to get, I guess. So people who are willing to do that. And they're also, I think from the email, looking to see if we would source the wine and beer. We're not responsible for paying for it. We'll be reimbursed, but if we can actually like purchase and deliver it, I guess, the day of. So if folks are interested in participating, we're looking for a few volunteers who can serve that day. So I think talk to Kirk.
thank you. Are there any other now? I know, okay, come on up.
Got a couple of announcements, starting first with Shoes That Fit. As you know, we were able to get the grant on that, and so I'm very, very excited about it. I've been in contact with Williams Elementary School. They will have a total of 87 children, including their pre-kindergarten or something of that sort. We will be able to give every child a new pair of shoes in that school. So I've been in the process of working with the Shoes That Fit organization, getting them hooked up. We are not looking at doing that until closer to spring break. So we won't be doing the shoes until closer to March. So more information will be coming at that point. But I'm very, very excited that we will be able to give every child a pair of shoes out there. That school is 94% low income. So, you know, everybody kind of needs it. Secondly, different hat, we've got backpack programs. So I'm getting ready to get started ordering the backpacks and that type of thing too. So we've got that coming up. This year we are going to increase it by another case. So we're going from 216 children to 240 children that we will be handing out backpacks to. So if you would like to make a donation to help us with that program, yes, I learned this last week. Or actually week before, whatever. Anyway, make your check payable to RG Rotary Foundation, because then it goes to Jan. Jan can then hold it for me. If we don't end up using it all this year, I've got it for next year. So big deal, because last year I thought everybody was doing it right. And I'm not saying anything wrong about it, but you know, we didn't end up using it all, which was fabulous because we had so many great donations, but then it just goes into the coffers for the club. So I'm kind of selfish and I want it for my program. So make it out to RG Rotary Foundation. And if you can let me know if you do make a donation, I would greatly appreciate it, because I also keep tabs on how much money I've got. But I'm really excited. We all know food costs have gone up, so I know it's going to cost us more this year. I've already been in contact with Grocery Outlet. They are going to be financing $1,000 of our food again for us. So that does make a huge dent for us and helps really a lot. So anyway, both those things are coming up, and I'll keep you informed as we get closer.
We will forgive you for this act of selfishness, because that one's okay.
The mural project. So we're going to start outlining the mural design on the wall this week. We have the mechanical lift coming out next week. So the first process is we trace the outline of the design on there in chalk, and then we go and we primer everything that needs to have a white background or white primer, and then we start filling. So the idea is, the second week in October, we'll start taking volunteers en masse to fill in those designs. That's the idea. The first week, we'll be out there actually putting the chalk outlines of the mural on the wall. And then the other thing we're doing, so you know, we're gonna probably not work on Monday and Tuesdays, but we'll work the rest of the week, including Saturday and Sunday. So for those that want to come out and want to mark a day on your calendar, we're going to be doing every day but Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, 50-50 raffle. I think there's still some cards back there, so you get them all. And Susan will walk around and try to make a sales pitch. Okay. Okay, another one. Come on up.
I have two quick announcements. One is there's going to be the Hispanic Cultural Celebration at Grants Pass High School. It's September 30th. It's being sponsored by the Mecca Group, and all the proceeds will go back to Mecha. And it should be fun. It begins at 3, from 3 to 5. There will be food and some entertainment in the Grants Pass Commons. And then from 5 to 7, there's going to be Hispanic and Latino entertainment, and it's all free. So come and enjoy. One other thing is, you all remember Dr. Murray, and he's got the Mint group that's over in the park at Riverside. And they do have a desperate need, because the weather's changing, for men's clothing. So all you women who want to clean out your husband's closet, feel free to do so, and you can justify it now. So, thank you.
Janie, are you ready?
Okay, I have a couple of announcements. The first one is about horse racing. There's a couple weekends left. This Sunday is the Oktoberfest day, and it should be a lot of fun. Then there's Monday night, and then there's more stuff happening next weekend. But I have a ton of tickets. If anybody wants to go to the horse races, just ask me. These are free, no charge, okay? And the second announcement I had is about tonight, for those of you who are planning to come to our pickleball play. First of all, can you guys just raise your hands and let me know if you're planning on coming? Great, perfect, thanks. Okay, so one thing I neglected to put in the email, the P-mail that I sent out, was please bring a lawn chair. You're going to want to sit down, and you're going to want to play for a while, and then maybe sit down and rest for a while. And it's nice to have your lawn chair right there next to the court. Okay, so, and that's it for announcements. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speaker. And our presenter today is Lisa Woodruff. Lisa and I have been friends for many years, since back in 1988, when she started at the Grants Pass Daily Courier, where I was working at the time. So Lisa left the Courier to start her own business, and I went on to TV, of course, but we continued to see each other at local events around town, different things, and especially at pickleball in recent years. Well, what Lisa probably won't mention in her presentation, that in addition to everything else she does, she's also a really great blackjack dealer. So if you're ever at a function and she's dealing blackjack, go to her table. She makes it fun. Okay, so Lisa's the owner of Logan Design in downtown Grants Pass, and she's already helped our club in other ways in the past. She created our healthcare hero signs that we put out at Asante and other medical offices. And many of you already know her, of course, from working with her through your businesses. She does signs and car wraps and logos and all kinds of other stuff. So Lisa said that, she'd heard about pickleball for years from friends, and then she started playing herself about 4 years ago. It didn't take her long to convert from being a racquetball fan to being a full-blown pickleball addict. She's the current president of the Rogue Pickleball Club, and she enjoys introducing the sport to new players. Her favorite thing, she says, about the sport is how all ages and all fitness levels can play together and enjoy the game. So please join me in welcoming Lisa Woodruff.
My attachment, it goes with me all. Okay, so jump right in. Thank you for having me today. A lot of familiar faces here. Some of you I haven't seen in a while, so it's great to see you. Yeah. Oh. There we go. Okay, why is it called pickleball? There's all kinds of fun stories about that. You'll hear stories about that. It was actually, there was a dog named Pickles that it was named after. That is not true. They did name their dog Pickles, but it was after the sport was already created. So back in 1965, there was in the state of Washington, congressman, and he started playing it. What happened was he and his buddy, can't remember his name, Bill something, he was a businessman. They were golfing one day and they came home from golf and they were on vacation out in Bainbridge Island at one of their homes. And all their family was sitting around, the kids were bored, the wives were bored, and they said, let's make up a game. So they took a badminton court and started with a ping pong paddle and ended up with a wiffle ball and started playing badminton, and then came up with the name pickleball. And the way they came up with the name pickleball is that in crewing, there is a thing called a pickle boat. And a pickle boat is made up of basically the rowers that don't make it onto the other teams. So that's what pickleball was, all these weird apparatuses from different sports that they combined into a court and called it pickleball. So that happened in 1965. The sport kind of kept evolving. There's a little bit of history. I won't read it all, but just kind of the growth of it that's happened. A lot of people think that it's a new sport. It's actually older than I am, so it's not that new. Just you're hearing more and more about it now. And I'll tell you why I think you're hearing about it. Just some more history. It is actually been recognized for the last 4 years now as the fastest growing sport in the country. You're going to see it more and more in internationally as well now. It's probably in the Olympics. They did what's it called before they demonstration? Yes, a demonstration in the last Olympics, and so it's thought to be that it'll be coming up in the Olympics in the next few seasons. So this is what a pickleball court looks like. It basically, you can get 2 pickleball courts on 1 tennis court. So that's why tonight, anybody that comes out to Lawnridge will see they took the 1 tennis court that was there and turned it into 2 pickleball courts. The city recognized the need and the growth, and I'll show you some pictures of some of the other courts around town that have evolved over the last few years. But basically, it's half size of a tennis court. The net is lower; it's only 36 inches off the ground. It is the area. Is there a pointer? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, doesn't work on the TV screen.
Okay, that's okay. So the area on either side of the net that's called the non-volley zone, it's called the kitchen. Can't tell you why, just a term that they came up with, but you'll see lots of fun t-shirts about pickleball that talk about being in the kitchen, and I'd rather be in the kitchen, and there's a lot of fun things that have come out of that. But that in tonight, if you're interested and you're there, you'll get a little bit better idea of what that's about. But non-volley zone, go to that. So terms, these are just, will help kind of explain the game. So the kitchen is a non-volley zone, which means you cannot hit the ball out of the air. So in tennis, people run up to the net and they slam it down. That'd be very dangerous in pickleball. So in pickleball, that area, you cannot do that. The ball has to bounce in that before you can hit it. So it's a safe zone. A term called dink. You'll hear dink a lot. There's a lot of strategy around the game. And dinking is when you're just hitting the ball back and forth in that kitchen area. So the ball bounces and then you hit it, bounce it and hit it. That's a very common way of playing. Volleying is when you hit it in the air without letting it bounce. ATP, and I'm telling you these terms because you're gonna, if you get at all interested and you start watching any pickleball on, there's tons of stuff to watch on YouTube and different, it's even on ESPN now. You can watch it and you'll hear these terms and just to understand what they are. ATP is around the post, so you can actually go off the court and hit a ball so it goes around the post. It's a very tricky shot, but it's one you hear about a lot. So coaching, I only put that up there because you're always going to play with somebody who likes to do that. They're not very fun. So the mechanics of the game. It used to be that pickleball was pretty much played doubles. You had two people on a team and you kind of rotate around. Now you see more and more people are playing singles. There's professional singles pickleball. It's changed the game a lot. But typically you'll still see two players on a side. Serve goes back and forth. It's not totally unlike tennis. It's actually, the way I like to describe pickleball is you're on a ping pong table, standing on a ping pong table with a paddle that's bigger than a ping pong. And the scoring is very similar to ping pong, only you're hitting a wiffle ball. It's not really a wiffle ball, but it's very similar to a wiffle ball. So that's kind of the best way to describe it. Traditional play is you only score if you're serving. There are some new leagues coming out where it's rally scoring, which is a little different. It's changing the game a lot. You serve underhanded, you cannot serve overhand. I had a thought there that I didn't finish, the kitchen. So apparently I like the kitchen. How to get started in pickleball. So there's a lot of opportunities locally. As I said, the city has been awesome in jumping on board with providing us public places to play. Reinhardt Park this last year opened up the 9 courts there. They took and converted tennis courts and basketball courts into pickleball courts. And so there's 9 courts there. 3 of those are actually what we consider stadium courts. So if we ever had a sanctioned pickleball tournament here, which we're working on getting that here, which would bring a lot of tourism into our area. If we can get that here, that gives us 3 courts that we can play on, which is a pretty big deal. They converted the 2 courts up at Lawnridge Park. There's a Fruitfield Park is out on Hamilton, and that has 3 dedicated courts that are just pickleball. If anybody's a Club Northwest member and has seen what's gone up there, they just opened up 9 courts this last week. They converted all their tennis courts to pickleball courts. They're beautiful, beautiful facility. And so that's an opportunity. RCC does art, and this is where Janie and I ran into each other again a few years ago, was RCC every fall and winter offers a class. They call it a class, but there's not really an instructor. It's basically open gym play. But they let you go into the gym and they set up 3 nets in there. So that's a great place to go. There's a beginning group and it's a great way to get in there and learn about the sport during the winter time. That keeps a lot of us playing because there are no other indoor courts. So it's a great facility that lets us do that. Actually, there is other indoor courts. The YMCA also, they take their gym and they put some nets up in their gym as well. So they offer some indoor play at YMCA. And then there's a app that all of us in town use that's called Playtime Scheduler. And it's not sanctioned by the city or anything. It's an app. It's all over the world. So if I'm we were in Italy or France last year, and I looked up on Playtime Scheduler to see if there were any courts around us. So it's a way of finding places to play, and it's a way of finding levels of play. So pickleball, like any sport, has different rankings. There's the beginning level, and then you go to 2.0, 2.5, 3.0, 3.5. The highest level is now 6.0. That just went up from 5.0. So there are 6.0. That's your professional levels. Most of us rec players, I'm a 3.5 in a good day. Not always. My husband plays at a 4 or 5 level, so there's just different levels of play. And that playtime scheduler, you sign up and play at the level that you play at. So it's a really great way to feel comfortable with going onto the courts. Locally here, the parks are kind of unofficially broken down by levels of play. So Redwood Park, I forgot to mention Redwood Park, that's out on Dowell Road, and the city put in 4 courts there. They're beautiful, resurfaced them this last year. And that's where most of the beginners play at that court, and at Fruitdale Park. Those 2 parks tend to be more the beginning level. So that's a great place to go. You can have a structured game where you go out with 3 other friends and you just want to play the 4 of you, or most of the time what people do is just do drop-in play. So you'll see tonight how we work that is we just kind of rotate people in and out. There's a paddle system where you put your paddle on the fence and that puts you in line to play. So that's it's all very loose and informal, but it's a way to include everybody.
Okay.
So here, so as I already mentioned, those courts, in Medford, there are some indoor courts. I've never played over there. They have a new facility, and then at the Rogue River Country Club, I guess they have some indoor courts as well. But these courts here, the top one that's the Reinhardt courts. So you can see they still have 1 tennis court at the very end, and then there's 6 pickleball courts, and then these are the 6 stadium courts. And then as the Rogue Pickleball Club, one of our things that we do is that we try and find things that the courts or the local pickleball community needs, and then we can help enhance it. So when the city put the parks in, they didn't allow a budget for fencing. So on the stadium seats, the courts, you can see how far the green is on the backside. That didn't have any fencing there, so the balls would roll felt like a mile. And so as a pickleball club, we raised the money and we put that fencing in so that the balls stop. And then now what we're doing is we're raising money for bleachers. So we just bought the first set of bleachers, and we're working our way to being able to fill that area with bleachers. So that'll be for stadium seating when we do big tournaments. The lower court there, the beautiful purple courts, that's Club Northwest. That just opened up. And they did a big championship court. They have the budget so they could do the bleachers. I'm jealous. But they have all these beautiful little pagoda seating areas. It's really nice. And the one on the right is a private court that happens to be at my house. That's how addicted they are. But there's a lot of people, actually, a surprising number of people in town have courts, have converted old basketball courts and things to pickleball courts because it's just that much fun. Redo it. Perfect. Okay. So why play? My biggest reason for playing is the friendships that I've made. It's so interesting. I have some of my best friends now are people that I met on the pickleball court that I don't know that I would have ever met. A lot of retirement people that move to the area that play. It's a great way for them to get out in the community and meet people and find out what's going on. The group on the left is just a total eclectic mix of people that came together and helped put the bleachers in when we bought them. And so that was the group of the workers that put the bleachers up. I love this, the one on the right. So a few weeks ago, the Rotary Club in Medford puts on a big tournament every year, a big pickleball tournament. And that 2 of our club members, Wyatt is 12, I think, and Armando's 53, and they play together as partners, and they just won a silver medal in that tournament. So that's what I love about it, is that we've got a 9-year-old little girl that plays with us regularly. And then we've got 85-year-old Jack Saunders who's out there playing regularly. So just the fact that you get such a age, there's no boundary. And as Janie mentioned, the fitness level, I love that our friend Steve, he could barely walk on the court, but he would get out there and he could move and you could play with them. It's not like they're just standing there. So it's I love the bridges that it gaps and the way that it brings people together. On the left, those are 4 of our local members that just played up at the Oregon Senior Games in Salem. They don't have any medals on, but they had fun. And then this group is all, the group on the right, those are all local ladies here that just went over to Klamath Falls last weekend and played in a tournament that's for raising funds for kids with cancer. And they all medaled, so we're really proud of our girls. They did great. So just next weekend, we have a great tournament. It'd be a great time if you're interested to come out and take a look at the game and how it's played. We're doing a tournament at the Reinhardt complex. We call it the Pickleplex. So if you hear Pickleplex, that's what we call the courts over there. But we'll be using all 9 courts over there for the weekend, all day Saturday and all day Sunday. We're doing a team event. It's a little bit different event. So we have teams of 4, 2 men and 2 women on each team. The names their teams are coming up with are hilarious, very creative. My team is Team Delicious. And but there's some really fun things. But that's just a neat way to kind of see the sport. It's really been fun with the courts over there at Reinhardt. We've pulled a lot of people in just from the neighborhood. I guess they figured if they could either be annoyed by the sound of the ball or they could get out there and play. And luckily, mostly they're getting out there and playing, but that's been really fun. And it's a great way to kind of get exposed to it and see the sport and see if it's something you're interested in. So I didn't want to get too buried in rules and all of that. And we'll go over that kind of stuff tonight. So any questions? Or... Oh, yes. So that's the other thing that's really great about the sport is it's very inexpensive to get involved in. So a friend of mine bought this paddle, was her first paddle. She bought it on the internet. I think it was $18. And she bought it because it was pretty. And she found out it's not a very good paddle for any reason, but it makes a good backup paddle. So I hang on to it. But so you can get into it basically for $18. You can buy balls for, I think they're $3 a piece for a good ball. That's what a pickleball looks like. Better bounce on concrete, but there's different kinds of ball. There's indoor balls that have different hole patterns. There's different composites that they're made of. Like anything, things get crazy. But really for $30, you could be playing the sport. And the public courts are free. So it's just a matter of going out and playing. So you can't beat the price. Paddles have evolved quite a bit. The original paddles were wood paddles, and now they're all pretty much different composites. This is a carbon fiber composite. This is I brought this one just because it shows you sort of the evolution. This is a new technique, or a new idea. This company came out with Selkirk's, one of the big paddle makers. Idea about it's much thicker, it's very lightweight. If you come tonight, you can try different paddles. I'll have a whole bunch of different kinds there you can try. But even the most expensive paddle, this was, well, 6 months ago, this was probably the most expensive paddle, and it's about a $250 paddle. So even if you went really high end, it's not that drastic to get involved in it. So. Yes. Pretty much a tennis shoe works. They're like, yes. Oh, you've got it. Sorry about that. Yes, kind of shoes that you recommend, or that we would recommend. A good tennis shoe. They do make special pickleball shoes now. Their cushion is supposed to be a little different because you push off a little bit more with pickleball than you do with tennis, less sliding. The court surface is pretty much similar to a tennis surface, not quite as slick. So just a good tennis shoe, good foot support is really important. You go up to 11. Yeah, it depends on the level of play. Beginners tend to go pretty quick. Like a 4-0 game can take a half hour, but a regular game usually 10 minutes. It depends how many rallies you get going back and forth.
What are common injuries?
Common injuries. I'm getting my new knee on December 21st. which isn't really related to pickleball, but knee injuries are very common. Ankles, not so much. Elbows and shoulders, not as much. I think my physical therapist, so this is great. If anybody knows Jesse Elliott at Siskiyou Physical Therapy, he did not like the sport. I'd been to him for an injury. That was sort of pickleball related, but he kept telling me, oh, pickleball, I'm treating so many people that are going through that. Well, then his wife started coming to my house and I was giving her some free classes. And he kept saying, nope, not going to go, not going to go. Well, he came over one night for dinner and we got him on the court and before dinner. And then after dinner, he said, can we go back out? And so he's now hooked as well. He sees the fun in it. So, but like, if anybody that comes tonight, we're going to stretch first. I think that's probably the biggest thing is people just think they can get out there and hit the ball. And I'm a real proponent of warming up a little bit first before you get out there and just start running around like anything. But again, it's your fitness level, and really anybody can get out there and do it.
How do the different players get ranked from that to the 6 scale?
Okay, question is about how do you get ranked? It's really self-ranking. There is a method, it's called a DUPR, D-U-P-R, and that's a ranking system that's used in the pickleball world. And they have a little quiz you take online. It's if you can do this, then and this and this and this, then you're ranked at a 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever level. So it's really self-ranking. We as a group, like when we put on a tournament, if a person says that they're a 3.0, but they're much better than that, we don't hesitate to move them to the right bracket. So they're no sandbaggers. Jim.
You may have mentioned this earlier, but I apologize. Has it gone professional yet? Seems like that's the path.
Yeah, the question is it gone professional? Yes. There are people that are, Ben Johns is the leading male player in the country or in the world. And I think he's, well, without endorsements and all of that, I think he's $1.5 million or something like that is what his last contract was. There are a lot of professional athletes are buying teams. There are professional pickleball teams and professional athletes are buying them. So a lot of NFL players, NBA players are buying these teams. And then what they do is they pay the players so much to be on their team. And so there's a draft that goes on just like any other sport. It's crazy. The leading female player in the world, I think she just turned 16, maybe almost 17. But she's been the leading since she was 14 years old. She plays with her mom and she's amazing. Anna Lee Waters. Yes.
Are schools starting to pick up the sport?
Are schools starting to pick up the sport? That is a great question. Yes, they are. My grandkids live in Washington and they play it. They've been playing it since they were in elementary school at their school. Redwood, Riverside School came to us. Yeah, Riverside. Came to our club and wanted some help striping their courts. They were going to start offering it for pickleball, and you can do a taping process in the gym or even on outdoor courts. You can tape it off to basically set up a court. So the schools are doing it. I know, like anything, there's a budget. Boys and Girls Club have a donor that's willing to help put in a court for the Boys and Girls Club. They'd like to see that get started. And we're in the early stages of helping get that promoted. Any other questions? Yes.
So it sounds like a lot of the tennis courts in the area are being converted into pickleball courts. Has there been any pushback from the tennis community?
Yeah, that's a good question. Is there pushback from the tennis community? There was a lot of debate went on. It was before I was part of the Rogue Pickleball Club, but there were a lot of discussions went on at park committee meetings for the park board for the city. And the agreement was we used to play at Morrison Park. So they had relined some of the courts at Morrison Park for pickleball before we had the Reinhardt courts. I own them. But when they gave us the Reinhardt courts, the agreement was that they would restripe the courts at Morrison for just tennis. So at this point, my understanding is Morrison Park and Gilbert Creek will always be tennis.
and that we don't get to invade them anymore. But I have a friend, a tennis player, and she was one of them that squawked about it, and she plays pickleball 3 times a week now. Still plays tennis, but. So encourage you all to come out tonight if you can, and bring family members if you want. It'd be great to get people out there. I've got some other gals from our club are going to be there, and we'll just have a good time. So, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. That was cool. That was very interesting. You know what I like about this place? I always learn something on a Thursday afternoon. I mean, just always something I didn't know. A little more knowledge. Our Sergeant of Arms isn't here today, so Lutz has graciously agreed to step in and pinch hit. He may not be his normal, charming, interesting self, but
Somehow I doubt that.
Yeah, I obviously haven't had time to prepare anything for today since it was about 10 minutes ago that Jim said, hey, you're on. But I did want to remind you about the contest, which is going to be finishing up next time I'm Sergeant at Arms officially, which is the second week in October. And for those of you that weren't here, when I established it, it was basically to imagine that you were the person who invented the walkie-talkie and that you were in charge of naming all kinds of other things. And so a bumblebee might be a fuzzy buzzy. A telescope might be a sneaky peeky. A bra might be a breasty nesty. You know, you could come up, and people are supposed to be sending their submissions to me via email, and I've gotten some great ones already. I'll tell you. You know, people saw that I gave out a gift card to Dutch Bros for the last contest, and now they're itching for that. You know, Jody was on that immediately. So anyway, there are some great ones that have come in. For those of you that haven't done one yet, you know, please do. You've got a couple of weeks to come up with something. Margaret, I'm assuming you're. All right, so let me just go to Happy Bucks then, rather than Babylon up here. Happy Bucks.
Thanks, Lutz. It's great to be back. Margaret and I were in Europe for about 6 weeks, and transportation was quite a challenge for us. Some of you were on our WhatsApp posting, and Margaret put all the good stuff up there. And then we would get home and gripe about all the bad stuff. So I have 11 happy euros because we had 11 euros left. So we'll let Laurel take care of that at the bank, I guess. And I think the thing I'm most grateful for, besides returning home and here, is returning in one piece after driving in Sicily and Italy and France, and especially in Sicily. You know, it's an island and it's mountainous, and the roads are all curvy, and they're all about 1 lane wide, but they use them as 2 lanes, and they don't have any stripes. So people drive wherever they want to drive. And when you come around a curve, well, we ended up just closing our eyes. It's good to be back.
Did anyone else not notice that they've been gone for 6 weeks? How about more happy bucks? Yeah, we got to have some happy bucks here from our other travelers, right?
I'll ditto your travels and various modes of transportation, from trains to planes to buses to subways to various other things, driving on the wrong side of the road. We went with 8 of us to Ireland, where they drive on the wrong side of the road and the roads are pretty damn narrow. But I gotta admit, we went with my daughter's boyfriend, and he had the wherewithal and the backbone to graciously say, you know, I get car sick when I'm in the backseat. How about if I drive instead of you driving? So he graciously put kicked me out of the driver's seat and took over, which was nice of him. But we had a great time in Ireland, and then we went to Berlin, and we got to try all kinds of modes of public transportation in Berlin. And I am so damn thankful for Google Maps telling me left turn, 2 more minutes, the bus will be there, get on the bus, because that's where you want to go. That was great. And so we tried everything other than I was not allowed to try to rent the scooters, because you can rent little scooters, power scooters on the side of the road. I wasn't allowed to do that. I really wish we had done that. I wish we had done that.
I want to give happy bucks for, I was in a different car than Doug, so I'm really happy about that. And it saved our marriage, I think. Yeah. And then also a happy bucks for the all the new members that are coming into the club. I really love it. So
I've got a happy buck. Yesterday was my 37th wedding anniversary.
So does that mean 37? Okay. How about there's some more happy bucks out there, aren't they? Yeah, okay.
So I have a couple of things. I only have a $5 bill, so I'm going to talk for a minute. My first happy buck is I took trigonometry in summer term. And I'm not a math person, but it's what I do now because I'm a math tutor. And speech, theater, and communications is my background because I'm comfortable doing that. Math is really hard. But my first test in trigonometry, I got a perfect score. Extra credit, I got 103. And then I cried about my next test where I only got a 90, which I'm ashamed that I cried about that. But I got an A in the class, and I'm currently taking calculus, which I never thought I would ever say ever. But I really enjoy math. I enjoy problem solving, and I love my job very much, which takes me, because I've got $5. I have a very couple of sad bucks. It's been a really hard year. I've lost some really important people to me. I said goodbye to my mother-in-law, Janice Jones, whom I mentioned before. But since I've seen you last, part of why I've been absent is I've been in mourning. I lost my best friend. His name was Robert Eugene Floyd, known as Bob Floyd, born and raised locally. He was killed in an automobile accident. He was our student body president at Rogue Community College for several years. He was a Native American. He worked as a range manager for the Confederated Tribes of Umatilla. And I love you, Bob.
We love Bob.
This is actually, I think, about 350 days since I've last used calculus. So
I also have been traveling. Last week I was in Canada, Toronto and Niagara Falls for a 15-year high school reunion, but we couldn't do it when it was 50 years. So this is 53 years. And all of these women came from, I went to a private all-girls school in Tanzania. And they are living all over the world, and we all gathered together, and it was just marvelous, marvelous time. High five.
any more happy bucks? Sad bucks? Margaret has a happy buck.
Actually, it's just a clarification. When Greg said we just closed our eyes when we were driving, somebody else was driving. We were in the back seat. Mark Garacki, and some of you know Mark and Susan Garacki were our traveling companions, and Mark did all the driving. And every evening he had to have at least a box of wine to kind of come down from the traveling. And we also saw Paul Stoy there, who some of you know was our exchange student, gosh, 8 years ago from Germany. And he's now living and working in Amsterdam and has his own company. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll catch you.
First of all, I'm jealous of all you travelers because I love to travel, but I've been doing kind of a staycation, and Southern Oregon is a great place to live. It really is. So Monday, I don't remember what day, we went up to Crater Lake, and it was kind of cold. There's snow up there already, but we climbed Garfield Peak. That's the one very close to the trail, it's real close to the lodge. Lodge is still open. They're having some kind of an eclipse event is coming up, and I think that it'll close the day after October 15th. So if you want to still have lunch or something at the lodge, you get up there now. Anyway, it was a great hike. And then yesterday we did Lower Table Rock, which, yeah, once again, you get up there and you walk to the edge and you look and you go, this is like a really beautiful area that we live. And I'm very thankful for that. It's great to share it with other people.
For those of you out there in Zoom land, if you want to put in some happy bucks, just raise your virtual hand, but we want real money, not virtual money.
I got 5 happy bucks because I spent a wonderful day on Monday. A dear friend that I've known for 30 years and only seen twice in the last 30 years. She lives in Virginia, and she drove all the way up from the Bay Area to spend a day and a half with me, and we just had a fantastic time. So to friend.
Happy buck?
I have 5 happy bucks because I went to an amazing Irish Italian wedding in New York. Oh my God. It was unbelievable. The food, the music, the people, it was breathtaking, and really great family, wonderful time, and very grateful to be there. And by the way, I agree, Grants Pass is beautiful. Oregon's a gorgeous state.
Hey, any more happy bucks? Any more sad bucks? How about a few meh bucks? Oh, okay, then let's do drawing of the cards. You have the deck over here. Lou? Here. Hey, Lisa, why don't you pull one out of here for us? It's the King of Spades. Oh, I don't believe that. Okay, thank you. Jim, you're back on up here. Would you please come up here and take the mic?
Thank you. It's great pinch hitting, by the way. Thank you. Hey, thanks again, Lisa. That was great. Lisa Woodruff, thank you. That was really interesting. The pickleball players. I have 2 quotations about family. The first one's from George Bernard Shaw, who said, "A happy family is but an earlier heaven." That was very interesting. And then George Santayana, is that how you say it? Anyway, whatever. He says, "The family is one of nature's masterpieces." So with that, we will close, and thanks everyone for coming, and maybe see you tonight.